Welcome to Stage 4 of the TDSA Christmas Carbine match, beginning, of course, with our glacially slow Enfield Run. The stage begins with a standing offhand shot, which I actually make. And then there's a target close enough to stab, but I was also told, okay, on this one you actually do have to shoot it. So I blasted a giant hole in the center. Again, giving all of these paper one shot each because I'm in heavy division. I have a relatively smooth load, and then you have to shoot through these barrels. These barrels were not actually mounted the most stably ever, and so they didn't last the whole match. We had to jury rig this one in particular. You see all the stuff holding it up. There are three targets there that I'm having to engage. One of them, barely the head is showing, and so I focus on that one first and then clean up the other two. And conveniently forget that there is a target over here that needs to be shot. Thankfully, Greg is kind enough to remind me. Load on the way up, since I only have 10 rounds in this magazine, and I'm nearing the end here. If I'd gotten perfect hits, I wouldn't have needed the load, but I know from previously that this is not my smoothest running rifle, or smoothest aiming rifle ever. I get the required hits here, but only after a bit of effort. And this is actually a place where the bolt action is a benefit. Most AR people were having to tilt their rifle around in order to get a clean sight picture through this tunnel. And I didn't have to. I just needed to get my body low enough, which was relatively simple to do.
99, 89.
I do knock one of the targets off kilter because 303 has a bit of oomph to it. 303 brass is also expensive as hell, so that's me collecting it at the end of every... Yes, I am a brass goblin this time. This time, it is AR time, and you saw that I don't think I actually hit that target, but Greg called hit, and so I registered that after a second and moved on. Here you see that the barrel you're supposed to shoot through fell off, and so we just, rather than having to take the time to jury rig another whole bunch, we just said just shoot over it. We know exactly where we need to go, and this one is still in place. This is a low port, but not the lowest I've ever shot out of. All you had to do was go prone and cant the rifle so that the magazine was tilted outwards. That brings your sight down to your eye line, and as long as you can get low enough, so as long as you're not wearing armor, you can do this perfectly fine in a standard prone with a canted rifle.
Ready.
Thankfully, both runs were clean, and you get a nice contrast between, again, 80 years of product development, 80 years of improvement. Being able to go through with a 30-round magazine of intermediate cartridge, even though you have to give double taps to everything, it's still so much faster. The only way it's faster is if you're rich and blasting everything with a semi-auto 308. This was a fun match. It featured a lot more interesting shooting positions than normally show up when you're having to mess with 3 different guns. So I appreciated the heck out of this carbine match. Well put together, well run. Ran a little long, but that's acceptable. It was fun. It had a lot of shooting challenges that I don't normally run into at this particular match, but that do actually resemble brutality style shooting challenges, so I definitely appreciate that. Now to work on the Enfield and get that better.
99, 89.